Hello, I am Sid Castillo, and I share stories of scouting in the Asia Pacific region. Last month, I was invited by the Singapore Scouts Association to talk about if scouting can really bounce back in the current situation of pandemic situation. And so, in this video, I'm going to talk about specifically about the Scout method and its 8 elements, and which element is really affected by this pandemic. Enjoy the ride. Enjoy the show.
Okay, for this session, I will talk about can scouting bounce back. This is the introduction of the regional director, the question of can scouting bounce back. So this is just like finding out if the scout method will still work in the new norm. So I have 3 objectives for you. Review the scout method, appreciate NSO's best practices in the new norm, and recognize what support is available from World Scouting. So before that, let me review the definition of youth program, because the youth program is the totality of the learning opportunities. So everything, the activities, the meetings, the scout meetings you have every week, these are all for the benefit of young people, and this is our what. And the why is the purpose of scouting. This is what Vincent is saying, that until now, we still have the purpose, and our purpose, the purpose of scouting, has not changed. And then the experience through the scout method. This is the only way we do scouting, is the scout method. So one of the trick questions we are asking our scout leaders is, how many scout method do you know? Everybody would say 8. No, it's not 8, but it's 1. It has 8 elements. And when I was in grade school, we were asked to draw the digestive system, the esophagus and the stomach and the small intestine, large intestine. And this system, digestive system, is made up of organs, and the organs is made of cells. So that scout method can be likened to this, that it works together, but well balanced each other. The first element is scout promise and law. For me, in my years of scouting, I have always seen the scout and law as a mantra. A guru once said to me that every morning you face the mirror, and in the mirror you say this: you are really very handsome. So do that every day, but make sure nobody sees you and the doors are locked. Okay, so this is like a mantra. And what did BP actually say? BP said all promises are important things and should never be broken. But when a promise on your honor to do a thing, you would rather die than break such a promise. So I think here in the Philippines, we have a saying that we believe that this is the only youth organization that put our honor at stake. All scouts and scouters around the world, when you do the promise, you say, on my honor. Okay? So the second element, young people, do you know what is this? Okay, this is a device. I grew up from a kampong, from a village. So one day, my father asked me to grate some coconut, and he gave me this. And I didn't know how to do it. So like a drill sergeant, my dad was shouting instructions at me. So there's no way to learn but by doing it. So BP said, the child wants to be doing things, therefore encourage him to do them in the right direction, and let him do them his own way. Let him make his mistakes. It is by this that he learns experience. Okay. Element number 3 is personal progression. We compete with ourselves. So when you face the mirror, who is the competitor? The one you see in the mirror, yourself. So I'm biking every day, trying to bike every day. And the first time was only 5 kilometers because I was recovering from my muscle memory, balance, and everything. But every day, every week, I wanted to do more, 10 kilometers, 20 kilometers. And now the last day, I did a 50-kilometer bike, which feels good. And BP said, our standard for badge earning is not the attainment of a certain level of quality of knowledge or skill, but the amount of effort the boy has to put into acquiring such knowledge and skill. This brings the most hopeless case on a footing of equal possibility with his more brilliant or better off brothers. Okay, element number 4 is team system. What do you call a group of owls? A group of owls you call parliament. So we have many of those in our parliament back here home. I don't have to elaborate team system, but BP said the patrol is the character school of the individual. To the patrol leaders, it gives practice of responsibility and in the qualities of leadership. To the scouts, it gives subordination of self to the interest of the whole, the elements of self-denial and self-control involved in the team spirit of cooperation and comradeship. Okay, element number 5, adult support. For those of you who loves to watch Bollywood movies, in any movie you have the actors or actresses and supporting actors and actresses. The role of adult leaders are the supporting actors and actresses. In fact, BP has said the work of the Scoutmaster is merely to encourage the boy in his efforts and to suggest the right direction to it. Element number 6, symbolic framework. Um, when I was a kid, I wanted to be a fireman. This was influenced with a very popular movie during the time called Towering Inferno. And who doesn't want to be a fireman when he was a kid? So in scouting, we use a lot of symbols. We give badges to recognize the efforts of young people. That's why we call them, I want to be President Scout. Oh, these are the President's men. Some people call it Eagle Scouts. Some Fuji Scouts. And BP said, for a boy, a uniform is a big attraction. And when it is a dress, such as backwoods wear, it takes him in imagination to be directly linked up with those frontiers who are heroes to him. Element number 7 is nature. Can you guess which place is this? This is in Bonbon Sandbar in the one of the 7,100 islands in the Philippines. And I think this is the most challenged element of the Scout method because it says that this should be a learning opportunity in the outdoors, which encourage a better understanding of and a relationship with the wider environment. But BP said the aim of nature study is to develop a realization of God, the Creator, and infuse a sense of beauty of nature. So we need to go back and study the historicity of this quotation. BP was a Christian, so he's just saying that when you are filled with awe, when you see the beauty of nature, you are filled with awe, and you think and you reflect that something or someone or somehow somebody has created this one. Okay, so I will just shift to slides. These are some example of activities, engaging activities. This is from the National Environmental Education Foundation. I think this is based in Washington D.C. But the most interesting here, there are a lot of activities. No, going gone is about. I'll show you. So this teaches children about um, about the stages of extinction. No, so you will see that threatened, vulnerable, endangered, critically endangered. Of course, next will be extinction. But one thing I like here is the Saving Energy Heroes, which is an activity that can be done at home, and kids will learn about emissions, kilowatt hour, reduce, even Energy Star certified incandescent light bulbs. So yeah. So this is like an audit at home, whether you save your energy or not. This is also another website which I found that says 6 awesome environmental projects to educate and engage children. So one thing I love in this, again, there are a number of activities, but this is the one I find very interesting. Is sorry for the scrolling down. Is a commercial for water awareness. So the activity basically, you will ask uh, the scouts to pick an animal from a different continent and research how this animal is related to water. So you will create a commercial, 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and if you want, you have a contest and competition. So this makes it engaging. There's a lot of competition happening. The 20-day challenge, 7-day challenge. There's a lot of competition. I know that friends from our troop, the Brighton Venturers, they did a face shield challenge from recycled goods. Some also did a closet cleanliness challenge. So these challenges are very engaging. So when it comes to community service, this site is, I find it very useful. 25 volunteer jobs to do from home. So this site has listed all the 25 jobs that you can do. One of the interesting things here is um, this number 19, if you can see, is proofread ebooks for Project Gutenberg. So this one you can do anywhere in the world. You can also transcribe historical documents. This is very interesting because the Smithsonian Center has these old documents, and what they do is they need people who can transcribe it into text, and then they will display the image. I think I have it here. If not, no. Okay. So that is interesting. Interesting volunteer jobs. So community service, community engagement can still happen through these websites. Can I continue? For scouting, I find these tools for digital scouting, a scout leader's discoveries in unusual time. This was written by Rio Ashadi of Indonesia, and he has listed all the useful tools, digital tools available on the internet. So some has already been mentioned by Emily, by Alvin, and Vincent. So Instagram Live, Facebook Live, YouTube Live. For virtual meetings is Zoom, and everybody knows Zoom. And interactive feedback, Slido. So World Scouting always does a Slido. Kahoot is also good. I saw it work, but it has limitation if it's free. It's a paid. So collaboration tools: Google Drive, Slack, Yammer. Brainstorming tools is Padlet, Note app, Bloomberg, and project management tools is Basecamp and Trello. So there's a lot of things out there, but as Emily has said, creativity is the only limitation. So, and because of this offline thing, we are disconnected but connected. It's easier to invite more input speakers, participants blooms out. Like now we have like 100 or 200, close to 200 participants. Yeah. So this is from Scouts Australia, Scouting at Home. This has a section of activities. Okay, so Scouting at Home, make a rainforest, fun, making a compass. This one is interesting. Body math. Keep healthy and learn to measure your heart rate during rest and exercise. So there's a lot. Even the wind speed. No, find out how aviators test and speed of wind. So this is a lot of things. I think I saw in the Singapore Scout Association Facebook page, you have also something like this, especially for the Cub Scouts. The same thing about this is the Scout Association from UK. They have listed all the activities here. Print a prayer flag, mindfulness of breathing, build a bottled boat, wild wind, when tides collide, etc. and etc. But this one is useful because the UK Scout Association has defined all the things that you will need in online engagement. So, for example, the instruction said, get into pairs or groups. How do you do that inside the home? So they said, if you are part of a group and they're in online meeting, and it does not really, it's not necessary that you want in a group. So if you need a pair, you can call out your dad, your sister, or your mom to do the activity. So this is very useful definition of terms in their activity books. Socially distant scout activities. So these are all definition of socially distant activities for beavers, and these are ideas to get you started, especially for meetings, activities, and adventure. So you can visit this website. Inside, coming from WOSUM, we have an article called Connecting Without Internet Connectivity. And this is text messaging, especially the initiative of UNICEF called U-Report. This is all text messaging. Even the analog mobile phones can work. So personal phone calls, radios, the amateur radio can be engaging. Personal visits, community mailing, market and shopping places. So especially for those kampong or villages that have like a market day, which people gather, that is a very good meeting place or meeting point for scouts. Okay, and the most important thing is the safe from harm, because everything is online and you don't know really who is logging into your Zoom meeting. It is very important that scouts feel safe online. So the World Organization of Scout Movement has an online training on keeping safe from harm online. 8 questions to ask myself to prepare for post-COVID scout activities. So questions like, what is my National Scout Organization saying about face-to-face scout activities? So you need to go back to your NSO and ask what is the guideline. You also need to look at the government's policy regarding face-to-face meeting. How do young people in the scout group feel when they come back? So we cannot prevent it, but some may not be very comfortable in coming back to the troop meeting for a face-to-face meeting. That should also be considered and should be listened to. How can my scout group and I help others during the activity? Yeah, flexibility. I'm ready to change. So it's not also a question for the young people. It is also a question for the leaders. So this is also a service. So services.scout.org. As Darren said into the introduction, I'm looking after 8 services. That's why I'm Octopus. But you go to youth program, you will see that there are several tabs. One of the tabs here is Scouting at Home and Beyond. So you click that one. It gives you resources like how to connect with scouts around the world. So I saw some French group in Singapore. There's a French translation of this document. There's an Arabic one. I think there's a Spanish one. I think, yeah. So you can also have e-learning here, connecting scouts offline from offline to online. So this is an online e-learning e-learning center. Besides this, the World Organization has a COVID support center. This is the COVID 19 hub of World Scouting, and in this page, we have stories and news on COVID-19. What is other people doing during the pandemic? So Ethiopia, Nigeria, Tunisia, Bahrain, Kuwaiti scouts. We also have a link to Scouts Emergency Response Fund. Those scouts who wants to do a project but looking for some funding, you can go to this site. So these are speeches from our Secretary General, Ahmed Alindawi. We also have a greetings from our our chief Scout Ambassador, Bear Grylls. Yeah, so information for National Scout Organization. So visit this site. This is scout.org /COVID-19. I have shared to you these slides. So this is element number 8, community development. These are the scouts, the army of scouts from Lebanon after the blast in Beirut. So 5,000 scouts went out and do what they can do. So cleaning all the debris, distributing water, pitching up the tent for those who are affected with no place to sleep overnight. And BP said, duty to one's neighbor is not confined to giving charity. It needs more than that. It often demands self-sacrifice to be effective. I've shown you some slides, website where you can do community engagement. So I also showed you some slides on tools or digital scouting as scout leaders discovers in this unusual time, which was written by Rio. The activity example in Australia, the activities that were given by UK Scouts. And I think Singapore Scouts also have these activity books that you can do online. So for World Scouting, I've shown you things, these things, connectivity without connecting without internet connectivity, 8 questions to ask myself to prepare for post-COVID-19 Scout activities, the WOSM services under the youth program service, and the WOSM's COVID-19 hub. So this is the last slide. What do you think? Can Scouting bounce back? So I will leave up this answer to your imagination. As Emily has said, creativity is the only limitation on this pandemic. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen, my friends in Scouting.
If you like this video, please press like, or I would like you to comment. If you have some comments, please do so and I'll answer you back. Don't forget to subscribe at Sid Castillo. Thank you very much.